Hey guys, it's live, and today's going to be a great video. We're not going to be negative, and it's going to be just, I think, one of the best emails I've ever received. I want to share it with you, and I want to start off by
Hey, D, how you doing? It's good to see you again, D. Hi, guys. Sit
saying hi guys, and you're really going to love this video. You really are going to love it. You're going to say, "Man, Gilbert, that's a great email that you received." But I want to do a little house cleaning, things in order. Got a message from uh, uh, an XJW up in California, and man, she's. This is the thing. We live in a soap opera. Whether you're in the Jehovah's Witness, out of the Jehovah's Witness, if you decide to leave the Jehovah's Witness world, it doesn't matter. There's a soap opera everywhere. Life is filled with drama. We have the best, most beautiful heavenly glory that we see all over. And we also see hell on earth. The earth is it's a magnificent place. It has it all. But she's depressed. She's an ex Jehovah's Witness who's been following everything way more than I am. And so this message is to all of you that are feeling under the weather because of all of the negative energy.
And see what happens. As you paint, you'll see all kind of things happening on your canvas, and very soon you learn to use all these beautiful little things that happen. I think in one of the earlier shows I mentioned, we don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
That's so true. Everything that you're seeing here on GG for GB, say, man, it's a roller coaster ride here on this channel. We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents. So if you're just tuning in, make sure you go back and watch it. So there we go. Let's go into the email that I've received, and you tell me if this is not a great email.
I can better explain my Omaha Beach illustration like this. Let me start by saying that I have nothing but respect for the sacrifices of the Allied troops on D-Day. That was the longest day, one of the most terrible days in history, and one of the greatest days in history. For context, I believe that the nations are ruled by spirit entities, some of which are evil beyond description. When the Allies stood up to the Nazi regimes, it was a huge victory for what is right and what is just. If there is a resurrection to earth, and if my place is on this earth, anyone that fought in that effort will have my full hospitality. The life of freedom and privilege I've experienced was bought and paid for in great part by their sacrifices. That having been said, I stand by my illustration. Cast your mind with me to sun up June 7th, 1944 at Omaha Beach. It must have been unspeakably bad. The dead, the horribly wounded, the psychologically destroyed, and the innocent civilians who lived nearby. Honestly, I have to limit my thoughts on the matter because it was too horrible. While the scope is far different, the witnesses I have known throughout my lifetime is just as gruesome. Just among my relatives, friends, and acquaintances, I have tabulated more than 10 suicides. The most recent was the daughter of an old friend who killed herself by drinking antifreeze, which is a horrible, self-punishing way to die. The broken marriages, which may well include children damaged by the breakup, are innumerable. All of my Jehovah's Witness peers, with a rare couple of exceptions, are divorced, and many more than once. Every divorce means that a one flesh bond has been broken and leaves a maimed psyche in its wake. Every divorced person has to give up some of their natural trust and spontaneity in order to recover, or at least move on with their lives. You don't actually recover, you just learn to adapt. There are plenty of men who left Omaha Beach with life-changing injuries, and there are plenty of people raised JW who have had to steel themselves because of unnecessary divorces and heavy-handed judicial committee actions. This is human wreckage. Shell shock was a term for what we now called post-traumatic stress disorder. World War II veterans had fairly good recovery rates from post-traumatic stress disorder because they were accepted back home as heroes and afforded great respect. Nonetheless, veterans of D-Day suffered psychological damage, and even if they were quiet about it and tended not to give voice to the trauma with which they lived, a lot of Allied soldiers came away from D-Day profoundly changed. For that matter, many soldiers on both sides had real emotional problems after World War II, even if they never suffered any physical injury. These fellows might not have still been at Omaha Beach on June 7th, but they were still casualties. Now think of the Jehovah's Witnesses you know, in or out of the organization, and think of how many are emotionally wounded. Actually, I see this as the worst of it, because it keeps people in the organization and follows them when they leave. Many people can't leave because they need the emotional crutch that the organization supplies. A disfellowshipped friend still suffers 7 years after the fact, and actually attended Mormon services this morning, searching for a way to replace the organization's emotional support. Imagine a shell-shocked veteran of D-Day rushing to be reassigned to Iwo Jima or Okinawa. Imagine painfully breaking free from a cult just to join another religion which removes you from the mainstream of culture. D-Day destroyed families, and that's really the closest simile to the Jehovah's Witnesses. Think of how many widows were made on that day. To us, these are numbers, but those numbers left behind wives, sweethearts, children, parents, siblings, cousins, etc. To me, the greatest wreckage left behind by the witnesses is the families which have been fractured. I probably will die in relative isolation because of this, and I'm far from unique in this. I recently visited family, and I could talk to them, hug them, take meals with them, etc., but I could not truly reach them. With the possibility of the rare exception, I never will be able to reach them. They are as far beyond my grasp as any lost soldier. When I look at a picture of Omaha Beach, I see tragedy, but I also see triumph. Looking at the plight of Jehovah's Witness families, I see tragedies that are no less profound. But sadly, triumph isn't at all that common. Many never make it off the beach and end up stuck on June 7th, seeing tragedy. In many ways, I have succeeded more than most. Quite literally, by the grace of God, I have a better than average career, and I have gotten off the beach, but I'll never forget the sights I saw along the way. I appreciate you reading my comments on your video, and stand behind my use of Omaha Beach as an illustration of the ex-Jehovah's Witness community. All of us, every man jack of us, went through hell in order to escape, and we exist in a tableau made up of wounded survivors. Even the most successful still bear scars from the ordeal, and most of us lost friends and loved ones in the battle. Perhaps the worst thing was that there was devastation as far as the eye could see. At sunup on June 7, 1944, looking at the ex-Jehovah's Witnesses I know, it's much the same with the ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. They are survivors, but virtually no one that doesn't bear some sort of scar.
So the pig was the software program, the email that I use. What I love about men is that when they double down. I love men that double down and triple down. And so he doubled down on my brother Jesse. And it's beautiful when men go back and forth and they stand their ground. And he did that. He stood his ground. And I understood the point that my brother Jesse was making, and I understood the point that this gentleman was making. And when you look at it from a different perspective, let's say somebody who lives outside of the earth, an angel, and he's looking down on all of this, and he's seeing bloodshed. 100,000 people die, boom, in a second in Hiroshima. Or he'll see, the bloody gore on Omaha Beach. But he also has seen throughout history, all over the earth, a steady supply of blood, just a constant drain. So 10 people die, so 20 people die, 30 people die a day. And it's just constant. And then when you get the sum of all of that and you compare it, you're like, oh my God, what's worse, 100,000 people dying or 40 people dying, but every day? It's all bad. Every last bit of it is bad. But we're dealing with human life here. And so it's not a competition over who's right or who's wrong. And I don't think Jesse or this guy that emailed me, that's not the point. They're both talking about death, human death. And that was part yesterday. He emailed me that because, yesterday was a pretty ugly day in the ex-Jehovah's Witness community, but it was a beautiful day because it stirred up the pot. But the point is, and you say, Gilbert, why did you, you dropped the gauntlet. You said, let's rumble, because it's about life and death. This is life and death issues. And what he said there about Okinawa and in Normandy on D-Day, they're two separate battles. There's no battle that's more important than the other. All of these battles all over the earth, whether they're Jehovah's Witness, Mormon, whatever, every single battle is very important. Every battle is important. And so when I threw down the gauntlet yesterday, I said, oh, hell no. I'm not going to let someone say that this battle is more important than that battle. Yeah. And he says, I meant no disrespect to my comments on his email. No. As a matter of fact, that was the beautiful thing. It's beautiful when men can go back and forth like a good old tennis match. That's the point. He said, I just woke up. I just flew in from France. Yeah. And so, but yeah, I didn't want Jesse to be on this program. I just wanted to do the video, and I want to let you know that this really is one of the greatest emails, and it was sparked a lot by my brother Jesse. We poked the bear, and he decided to double down. But going back, my friends, everything is about about the individual human being. When you're looking at it from a different perspective, from the outside of Earth, and you're looking down, they're not looking at Jehovah's Witness. They're not looking at the Catholic or the label. They're looking at the individual human being. And we can never, ever, ever stoop so low and diminish our fellow human beings and say, the arguments that you're saying are years and years of wasted effort. That deserves an apology. And I want to, and this video was very powerful, because human suffering is human suffering. They're talking about today, over 400,000 people died in Ukraine. It's a meat grinder. And more people have died in Ukraine than have died in Omaha Beach. And so it's a steady, every day it's just a steady amount of just slaughter and killing. So all of it is bad. And all of these stories have to be told. They have to be told. And the point that he brought out was about the survivors. In World War II, a lot of people survived and received help and went on to live very successful lives, productive lives. Not everybody, but a lot of them did. And his lament on this email was that when he looks at the Jehovah's Witness battlefield, he doesn't see the victory, the triumph as much. That's what he feels. I don't know if it's true or not, but when you come on YouTube and you see things, that's what you get, that feeling that there's not that much triumph in the ex-Jehovah's Witness battlefield. And that's what we want. We want our brothers and sisters, when they leave, to feel triumphant. And that's what I think this video did. And I thank you. and I hope he throws another one our way. So, guys, I think that's it. We're going to keep it short, 15 minutes. That's all I wanted. And again, this is the best email I've ever had. And like Dean Martin says, bye, guys. Bye, guys. Bye, guys.